Yes, folks, hello, welcome once again to MoDXtra Games and Collectibles. It's time for another action figure review here on the channel, and as you can see on the screen right now, today's installment we're going to be taking a closer look at the new G.I. Joe Classified Series Falcon and Quarrel 2-pack. So stick around, I'm going to give you all the ins and outs, all the ups and downs in what? I'm going to give you all the ins and outs and ups and downs that you need to know if you've been thinking about picking this 2-pack up for yourself so that you know whether it's worth your cash or not. I'll give you a quick run through of the packaging experience and then get into the figures, talk about the aesthetic and visual experience that I've had with them, talk you through the articulation and posability, give you a rundown of all the accessories and added value. And with all that said and done, you should have plenty of information there to make your mind up and know whether you want to, keep your pre-order, cancel your pre-order, keep an eye out for them at your local Target, whatever, just you'll know whether they're worth your cash or not. Quick word of warning, I do lengthy reviews anyway, but a 2-pack's probably going to be a little bit longer than usual, so please do stick it through to the end. And oh my god, I'm so tongue-tied today, let's just get on with it and go back in time and visit past Chris as he first takes a look at the box when it arrives on his doorstep. All right, let's do it. See you in a minute. All right then, folks, well, here is Falcon and Quarrel in box. You can see that it's the standard G.I. Joe Classified Series packaging we're getting nowadays, with the logo on the bottom, the window showing off the figure and the goodies, the carbon fiber blue and black kind of design motif. They're Night Force characters, so they've got the Joe symbol and the Night Force logo there on the front. Good kind of peg presence going on there. Then on the back, we can see that it's number 138 in the line. Got this digital render of the two characters in action there, in that kind of classic Night Force location, trudging through the tunnel with the Energon crystals there, the kind of Skybound Comics tie-in thing that they're hinting at. Little breakout windows showing off some of the key features they're eager to show off. Paint applications mostly by the looks of it. Import sticker, legal bollocks and malarkey. We got two file card sets of information here. I'm not going to go through them one by one today because there's two and there's too many, and it'll make the section too long and then people will give me grief in the comments down below, and it hurts my feelings, folks. Why do you do that to me? Why? It's so unfair. I work hard on these reviews. You're giving me shit about the length of... I can't keep it up. What I will point out, though, is there's quite a few bits here for Falcon around his grammar, because he's a bit obsessed with language and words. He's one of those kind of people online who'll correct your use of there, and there. Nice bit of painted artwork up the side. QR code to nowhere down here, look. And then we've got the data card information again repeated on the side. And that's it. There you go. There they are in packaging. So I'm going to go away, get these cracked open, get some good hands-on man-child playtime in, and I'll return in a few days once I've had a good go with them with some review thoughts for you. All right, so stick around because Future Chris is coming back in 3, 2, 1. All right, then, folks, into the review section of the video now then, and I'm going to kick things off by talking about the aesthetic qualities, the visual experience with Quarrel here. We'll get into my man Falcon imminently. But Quarrel was my main motivating factor for picking up this set. An important character for us UK fans over here, the least of which is she's got a really cool UK paint application on the body there. But taking a look at her head to toe, we can see that the inspiration is a strong vintage inspiration here. It's certainly a strong homage towards the vintage character, even down to the fact that the vintage character was a Scarlet book reuse. And here we have a G.I. Joe retro Scarlet reuse going on, albeit with a few extra trimmings here and there. So the main body is Scarlet, so it's the same leotard outfit with the long gloves, the tall boots. Some of these trimmings are the same, like this little pouch here on the thighs and the knife sheath. That's all the same. We've got the female steel core shoulder pads. We've got Shooter's bulletproof vest there, and then of course the head sculpt is brand new. But even down to the colour scheme, it's strongly inspired by the vintage figure. The black, green and red elements particularly were part of the vintage figure's look. The only key difference is the grey on the vest there, but the colours work. They're nice. I was sceptical about them at first, but having had her around for a week and getting some man-child playtime in, taking some photos and stuff, the colours have grown on me, and I kind of like the complementary way that the black, red, grey and green all match up with each other. I think it might be the green and the red that's spinning me out a bit, but as time has gone by, it has grown on me. So the head sculpt is the main piece of newness there. It's a good solid head sculpt. We've got Excellent facial features, sculpted in facial features, well applied, neat and tidy paint applications, the eyes, the eyebrows, the lips, and then we've got this little kind of earpiece at the side here that then coils around the back of her ear and drops down to a little kind of communicator thing around her neck, which is nice, all with individual sculpted details in. The hair's sculpted. She's got that kind of short practical cut for field work, which is really nice. It's a little bit vanilla, but there's a touch of something there in terms of an expression, but she's a little bit more kind of staring you down, stoic, but that's fine with these combat sorts. I don't mind that so much with the with the people out in the field. So yeah, nice head sculpt, lovely. There's also a little bit of shading in on the cheeks there. Can you see that she's got a little bit of different colouring, a little bit of a flush across the cheeks. So yeah, great head sculpt, really nice. The only thing is the way it sort of sits at the back here. If I spin her around, not so keen on this. You know, where you can sort of see this kind of big gap here where the head meets the neck. It kind of makes the neck feel really long, and from some angles I was photographing her, made her look a bit iffy. Otherwise, of course, she shares a lot of visual experience with the retro Scarlet. You've got the leotard in here. We've got the belt across the middle with a quiver on it, but then the painted in belt underneath. The buckles are painted in. We've got these little shells that have been painted in as well, adding a bit more texture and depth. All the individual painted applications here with the pockets and across the chest there. She's also got the little spring-loaded derringer on the inside there, but the shurikens on the outside have been painted in. Got the paint app on the sheath, so it's all good in that respect. And my comments here are particularly similar to my comments on the retro Scarlet. I like things like the texture details where the leotard is pulled tight. You can see these little creases and stuff in there. Got the little elasticated collar around the neck and all that kind of stuff. Got straps, studs. So yeah, it all comes together quite nicely. Got this paint application here on the shoulder, like the I don't know what's that, the Night Force symbol. Which is in the blue and yellow as well, adding another little splash of colour in there, but well applied. I must admit, though, I'm not a fan of the shoulder pads. I'm going to revisit this idea when I talk about Falcon as well. I'm not a fan of the shoulder pads, and I've been taking them off. Like so. Now, my reasons for that are twofold, really. The first is I feel like without the shoulder pads, she doesn't quite look as bulky. I felt like she looked a bit kind of crowded and bulky with the shoulder pads on. But then secondly, we've got these awesome shoulder paint applications underneath them. We've got the red Z there, and then we've got, of course, the classic Union flag on this side, which adds a little bit more character, a little bit of personality, and also acknowledges the fact that she was a UK exclusive figure back in the day. So winning on many fronts there, makes her look less crowded and bulky, but also adds a bit more flavour, which I'm a fan of. And that's it, really. Not much else to say on the Quarrel front. I mean, obviously, with the volume of reuse in here, all I truly have to talk about is the change of colour scheme and the new head overall, and the additional paint applications like the shoulder insignias. So at this point, I would encourage you to reach back through my archive and watch my shooter video. Watch my retro Scarlet video. Why not? And slam a like on her while you're there. But I'm happy. Yeah, I'm generally quite happy with the visual experience of Quarrel there. So she's getting a thumbs up. Right, let's jump over to Falcon, shall we? And here he is. And once again, drawing very heavy inspiration from the vintage Night Force Falcon figure, with the colour scheme and sort of the general construction of the fig. So the green, the black, and the brown colour scheme with the grey undershirt. The neckerchief, I seem to remember, was on the original. Although was he wearing braces or something like that? But largely speaking, drawing very heavy inspiration from the vintage look of the figure. Big old homage there. This Falcon is reuse-a-palooza once again. So that's Outback's body, t-shirt and trousers. I'm reliably informed by my man Bobby Dubs that the vest and the belt are from the Range Viper. The shoulder pads are from the male steel core figure, and of course the neckerchief from the Viper, I think, and of course the hat is the same beret that the other Falcon was wearing. So yeah, drawing from all this various kind of hodgepodge of different reuse areas. The main event, once again, in terms of newness, is the head sculpt. And once again, is a decent, solid head sculpt, a vast improvement on the original Falcon figure head sculpt. We'll take a closer look at that situation a little bit later on. But good facial features, much more proportionate. It's still a bit kind of wide-faced, but I don't mind that so much because I feel like the character in the G.I. Joe the movie was quite wide-faced there. But he's got the handsome blue eyes, the paint application on the eyes and the eyebrows and the lips there. The hair is sculpted once again. It's a bit kind of, the hair sculpt's a bit funny because it's designed to fit underneath the beret, which is fine, but no, I personally no particular issue with that. The beret pops on and off like we've seen with other beret-wearing characters like Stalker and Flint in the past. This is the same as the green one from the original Falcon, mainline Falcon there, just obviously in black, but the aesthetic, the same contours, the same sort of way it hangs down the side there is all exactly the same, and the paint application with the insignia on the front. Again, because of the reuse, a lot of the visual qualities are the same as we've seen in the past, but there's a lot to like. Loads of little individual paint applications to give the figure some depth, like the painted shells on the shoulders here, the different colour pockets and pouches. Got some more shells, some shotgun shells painted in red there, which is nice. The paint applications on the knee pads, the watch here. Let's just put it back in focus. Got the hairy arms from Outback. So that's all nice touches. The brown, green, black and grey colour combo is super complimentary. I love the colour scheme. I have to confess I was sceptical about it in the first place and was almost kind of like, my heart was set on disliking the colour scheme and the way the figure has come together, and it was just going to be kind of kit bash parts and a nice head swap and keep me Quarrel, but actually it's grown on me a lot, and I really kind of like the way the brown, the grey, the black all kind of combines. I think it's a very attractive set of colour schemes there. Shoulder pad here's got the Nightfall symbol on it once again, but like Quarrel, I would argue that the shoulder pads make him look very kind of crowded and bulky. And like Quarrel, I've been taking these off. Yeah, see there, I think he looks a lot better without the shoulder pads on, and like a really great figure, like a, like a out in the field, in operation dude, looks a lot better. I tried to peel the vest back a little bit to see if it had survival written underneath it or even the tiger painted on it, but I couldn't see. So somebody out there, let me know if you've torn that bad boy off and had a look at what's going on underneath. So yeah, I got to say, aesthetically, thumbs up. I've been enjoying this Falcon. For someone who was just going to be like, yeah, I'll just throw the steel core head swap on it, use the other head with the OG Falcon figure, and it's just a bit of kit bash fodder for the collection. I actually kind of really like it, which is, I suppose, fair enough. So a big thumbs up on the aesthetic experience, especially as soon as you get the shoulder pads off him. I think he kind of frees up in a way that makes him look really great. So there we go. Okay, so there's your little visual experience rundown. Let's now take a look at the articulation and posability. As always, folks, it's standard G.I. Joe Classified Series articulation with these two figures here, so if you've got no need nor want to watch the articulation rundown, then please use the chapter timestamps in the description down below to jump onto the accessories and added value section. But for those of you who might be interested if there's any quirks, or this is the first ever G.I. Joe Classified Series review you've ever watched, let me give you a quick rundown. And we're going to start with Falcon this time and get started with the head. It's a ball in the base of the head, and I think there's a ball at the bottom of the neck as well. Gives you fairly decent down, fairly decent up, all the way around, full 360 exorcist, and then you can do all the kind of swiveling around and tilting on the ball there. Down into the shoulders, got the butterfly joint there, giving you some shuffle back and forward, and then it's the peg and hinge, so you can go full 360 all the way around, and then bring the arm up like so. Swivel there at the top of the bicep and tricep. The pinless double elbow will get you up to there. Then it's the pegged in hands that can swivel all the way around at the wrist, and then the right hand has got the up and down hinge, and the left hand there has got the hinge forward and back. Moving down into the torso, there's an ab crunch there underneath this vest. If you sort of just lift it ever so slightly, you can get some forward and back use out of that ab crunch, although obviously not quite as extreme as if it wasn't there. And then the ball in the waist, giving you the swivel and twist action there. Standard G.I. Joe Classified Series drop down joint in the groin, giving you good forward. Can Russian ballet out to there. Then swivel here at the top of the thigh. Pinless double knee, that'll get you up to there. Swivel at the top of the boot. And the hinge and rocker there in the ankle for the feet articulation. Then on to Quarrel, it's the ball in the base of the head, but no ball at the base of the neck. The down is really rubbish. The up is really good. And then you can do the swivel and the tilty action there. There's no butterfly on Quarrel, which now occurs to me, as I've got to this section of my notes, this top section mustn't be Scarlet either, which obviously it isn't with the collar piece up there, so apologies, I misled you earlier. But there's no butterfly joint, or if there is, I can barely get any movement out of it. But it's the peg for the full 360 and the hinge for the T-shape. Swivel at the top of the bicep and tricep. Pinless double elbow up to there. And then the pegged in hands, both sides, left and right, the up and down hinge. Got the barbell joint at the top there, and then the ball joint in the waist, giving you some swivel at the top section here and a little bit of crunch forward and back, and then obviously the swivel in the waist area. And then the same situation down with the legs. We've got good forward. Russian ballet splits out to there. Swivel at the top of the thigh. Pinless double knee, that'll get you up to there. Cut at the top of the boot with a swivel. And then the hinge and rocker in the ankles for the feet articulation. So the articulation's fine, yeah, it's a thumbs up there on the articulation. My criticisms are the same as they were with the figures that they've drawn heavy reuse from. I'm finding Quarrel here a little bit difficult as an independent stander when it comes to posing her up. I suppose that's less about articulation and more about the sculpt of the soles of those boots, but I had the same problem with Retro Scarlet. Well, that's about it, really. Everything else is fine. I've had a nice wide range of possibilities when it comes to posing them up, taken some interesting photos, had some fun. I like the G.I. Joe Classified Series articulation scheme. I find myself able to utilize my imagination with it, so all's good on that front. Okay, well, there you go. There's the articulation. Let's now take a closer look at the accessories and added value. And to start us off with a couple of head swaps, you can see that each of the figures comes with a steel core style helmet there. The paint applications and the designs are exactly the same on both figures, with the green, black and red colour motif, and then both of them have got this little painted kind of wing symbol down the side. Otherwise, the general engineering and design is the same as the steel core helmets on the male and female steel core figures from their two-pack. So the visor there with the little peak on it. The sculpted details are the same with the mouth piece, the face breather there, and the studs. And the panels and such like. These are good, these are fine. If you're into the sort of steel core look, then these will appeal to you. I'm not the biggest fan of these helmets, but that's a kind of horses for courses type thing. So it's all good if you want to use them. Like I mentioned before, I had planned on just kind of slamming this on Falcon and keeping the other head for use with the OG body, but I don't know. I'm wavering now because I like the design of this body. But there you go. There's your first piece of accessory, the heads. And then each of them has a set of gear that's kind of unique to each figure. So Falcon here, for example, aside from the beret and the neckerchief that we've already looked at in the aesthetic section, he's got his backpack here, which is a repaint of the backpack that came with the original mainline figure, with the cantinas and the rope and the radio aerial there, and then the kind of machete piece that slides into this little sheath on the side. Nice sculpted detail, exactly the same as the previous one, but always glad when there's a bit of colour variety on the backpacks. He's got a handgun here, little pistol that fits into his thigh holster. Again, we've seen this before in the line with other characters. And then a repaint version of the shotgun that came with the mainline version of Falcon, but with the red. What's that bit on a shotgun called where you cock it? Any firearms experts out there, let me know. And then you've got the fold-out butt there with the hinge piece, and then the painted extra shells in there. I find this annoying. This bit falls off. The original one does that a lot as well. I find that very difficult to use, so more often than not, I've just folded it over like that in his hands. And then there's a few bits for Quarrel as well. She's got a couple of bladed weapons here, a little dagger, and then like a little... is this called a dagger as well? That's from Shooter, that's from Scarlet, and these have both got sheaths on her person so that you can store them on the fig. This one goes up top here, and this one slides in here by the leg. Then we have the crossbow loadout that came with Scarlet, so you've got this kind of front section here that pegs in like so, and then it's got a channel across the top for an arrow, and then it comes with a selection of arrows, like a standard short pointy one here, like so, like a grappling hooky one, and then a couple here with different lengths and different designs of arrowheads on them. This is fine. Once again, as reuse, it comes with the same criticism that the original version with Retro Scarlet does. This bit falls loose, gets knocked off quite often, and I find it a little difficult to sort of get it nice and posed up with, but it's fine, I suppose. And then these arrows fit in the quiver on a person, But even though it's got these kind of 4 holes in here, I find it very difficult to make the quiver take all 4 of the arrows, particularly this one with the weird kind of like grippy grappling hooky head. So that tends to live in the bits box for Retro Scarlet, and will now live in the bits box for Quarrel, and I'll just keep those 2 in there and 1 chambered up. Do you say chambered up with a crossbar, or do you say knocked? Or something else entirely? Am I wrong altogether? Again, any weapons experts out there, please do educate me in the comments down below. And then Quarrel comes with a couple of closed fist hand swaps there, 1 for each hand, and as you can see, they've got the forward and back hinges on them. And then we have just a kind of wider selection of sort of generically included stuff. So I'll give you the rundown of the things that seem clearly character specific, but they've also chucked in the Range Viper loadout with the this heavy machine gun here that we've seen before with the Range Viper, and the rotating barrel grenade launcher that we've seen with the Range Viper 2. Then we've got the M16 rifle that we've seen with the likes of Grunt and Mutton Junkyard before now. We've got the night vision goggles there with the red night vision elements on them, this is the tunnel wrap version of the goggles. And then speaking of tunnel wrap, we've also got 2 of these torches, these kind of red light torches here, and then another random handgun, which I generally have found myself using with Quarrel. So not really much in the way of kind of adding to the visual identity or character specific kind of gear, but just useful bits, I would argue, just to have around. I mean, certainly the M16, you can't go wrong with an extra kind of generic 9mm handgun and a good old-fashioned M16 there for, you know, the real American heroes. You can't go wrong with having a spare kind of grenade launcher hanging around. Can't go wrong with a spare kind of belt-fed machine gun thing. So it's all just sort of useful storytelling pieces, world-building pieces as well, like torches, night vision goggles. It certainly adds value, even though it's wild reuse. It does definitely illustrate once again, because I'm quite happy to have all that and kind of throw it in my bits box. In fact, I've used this M16 a few times now, starting to, because I'm gathering a bit of a small collection of M16s for some like Vietnam looking kind of stuff with Stalker and what have you. So I'm quite happy to have it, but it does sort of illustrate how they really could, they're missing a trick. They're leaving money off the table by not doing decent kind of little weapon packs like this. But nonetheless, it's all added value, and I found myself making use of it all in some of the pickies and little kind of pose displays I was doing the other day. So yeah, the accessories is a thumbs up. It's all good added value to the collection as a whole, not just for this set, but just like for your broader collection of G.I. Joe Classified and stuff that you can use across your entire collection of figures. Is it without flaws? No, it's not without its flaws. But it's all the same problems that we've had from the original hands-on experience with all of these accessories. So there's nothing new there, but I certainly like having just these extra bits kind of chucked in to sort of increase the bits box and increase the selection, particularly kind of more standard stuff like the M16 rifle. So I'm generally quite happy with that. I'll probably not find myself using the steel core helmets, but all is good as far as I'm concerned on that front. So yeah, there we go. Thumbs up. Right, let's have a look at these next to a couple of other figures, shall we? Okay, very well, here is Quarrel with the obvious comparison of Scarlet there. I think, colour scheme and sort of general adornment and what have you, and the head sculpts are enough to kind of separate them, that they, even though it's book reuse, it's not, egregious and too obvious when they're next to each other. I've obviously given Scarlet a samurai sword in honour of the recent Skybound miniseries. And here's Falcon with the mainline Falcon there. I'm sure we can all agree that the head sculpt is a vast improvement. To be fair, they could have wrapped a dog turd. It probably would have been an improvement. But I've got to admit, the more I play around with this one, the more time I spend with it, I feel like there's a lot more personality and character in this Night Force version than there is in this one. I'll do the head swap quickly for you as well, shall I? There you go, folks. Well, there's the head swap. So that's the new Night Force Falcon head on the mainline Falcon body. You can see here the beret fits fine on the new figure there. But if you're, like me, a fan of G.I. Joe the movie and you want to reenact your rawhides, then you can definitely do worse than doing a quick cheeky head swap. The skin tone's slightly different. The Night Force one's a bit paler, and the mainline Falcon skin tone is a little bit more tan. Kind of makes sense, Night Force one's been out on night maneuvers and not seeing a lick of daylight for a long, long while. whereas the mainline one has been out and about in the bars near the beach, chatting up the ladies. You know what I'm saying? Here's Quarrel with fellow British member of G.I. Joe and fellow British member of Night Force, incidentally. Big Ben here. Not a great uniformity in the Night Force colour schemes there, though, which is a bit disappointing. And here's Falcon with Big Bro there, or Big Step Bro, wasn't it? Which is interesting, actually. You can't see the family resemblance so much there. And the more cartoon-style aesthetic of the retro version of Duke here sort of stands out when you put him next to Falcon like that, which is interesting. Okay then, folks, well, here's a pair of them going around on the turntable so you could take a final 360 look. Definitely give me a like for this video here and now, folks, because you would not believe the trouble I've had making Quarrel stand upright on this bloody wibbly-wobbly turntable. In fact, she won't do it. She won't do it. She's just going to have to lean back to back with Falcon. I'm fed up with trying now. It's taken me ages just for this little, 1.5 minute finishing segment. Ugh. Anyway, I'm actually quite happy with this double pack, which you might note from the tone of surprise in my voice means I'm surprised. The Quarrel, I wanted Quarrel. I was buying the pack because I wanted Quarrel. I felt like it was a bit of a classic Hasbro hostage pack that was going to have a second Falcon that I didn't really need nor want. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll use the head sculpt maybe. And then, like I said before, kit bash fodder, and that'll be fine. But he's been the big surprise of the set. I'm actually really enjoying this Falcon. I liked the Outback. So it's no surprise that aesthetically this guy is appealing to me. Now that I've got him in hand and had a good play around, I think it's got a lot of character and personality. And it is pretty accurate to the vintage version of the character. So I've got a decision to make in terms of what I do with that now and how I display it. But overall, yeah, very happy. Very happy that they've come out as well as they have done as well for such a heavy amount of reuse too. But there you go. You know, it's a solid set. I'd probably say it might be one that you go, well, if all I'm in it for is the Falcon head sculpt, maybe wait and see if it turns up in Ross or something. You know what I mean? Or gets discounted down at the next kind of Hasbro Pulse sale or something. But overall, actually, I think it's decent. I think it's a decent set, and I have enjoyed it an awful lot this last couple of days. I was doing some stuff with Falcon and Tunnel Rat the other day, and I was doing some stuff with Quarrel and Scarlet, and taking some photos and enjoying the figures, and I've had a lot of enjoyment out of them. So I am definitely going to give this set a thumbs up, which surprises me. I thought I'd be a little bit more indifferent overall about the set, and I actually haven't been. So there you go. All right, well, I hope you have found this useful. If you've been thinking about picking up the set, that I've given you enough to think about and chew on to know whether you want to keep your pre-order or if they're worth your money, spending your money on. If you have found it useful, give us a like, do the subscribe thing, YouTuber stuff, blah, 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 all that kind of good stuff. But all I want to finish off and say is hope you have a great day, hope you have a great rest of the week, and I'd love to see you around these parts again sometime soon for another video. All right? Take it easy, folks.